Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Cattlemen and women from across the country are blazing a trail to Phoenix for the Cattle Industry Convention. We'll bring you some of the sights and sounds as this amazing gathering gets underway.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Ochsner. We're getting ready to kick off the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. This convention has been going strong for more than a century. The first was held in Denver back in 1898. This year's event starts tomorrow and runs through Friday. It's a unique and fun environment for cattle industry members to come together to network, create policy for the industry, and to have a little fun. And it's not too late for you to take part. Walk-in registrations are accepted all the way through Friday, February 2nd. And you can even purchase a one-day registration to just check out the trade show. It might be the best investment you'll make in your cattle business this year. Get all the details at the website ncba.org. Joining us now to provide more insight on the convention is NCBA CEO Kendall Fraser. Kendall, we're ready to kick off another convention this week. What's the general mood of folks coming to Phoenix?
I think people are excited to be here. Number one, you can't beat the weather that we're having here in Phoenix. Number two, we've got a great lineup of speakers for our general sessions, including the pioneer woman, Ree Drummond from Oklahoma. And we've got a great trade show lined up for people to go into and see the latest products and services in this industry.
You know, not everyone fully understands the important nature of this meeting. Tell our viewers just what goes on this week and how that directs your efforts for the coming year.
It's important from this standpoint, and that is all our governance bodies meet at this convention. In other words, our policy committees, our checkoff committees, all meet and they start to develop and plan their work for the coming year. Our policy committees will be working on our policy priorities. Our checkoff committees, along with the Cattlemen's Beef Board, will be working on checkoff priorities for next year. So it's really a start of that process here as we go through 2018.
And while it's very important to be here this week, it's equally important to stay engaged throughout the year. Tell folks how they can remain engaged with NCBA throughout the coming year.
Become a member. That's number one. By becoming a member, you're going to get our monthly publication, National Cattlemen, which will keep you up to date on what we're working on as an association, what our priorities are, their messages from our leadership in that publication. So that would be the best way to get involved, Kevin.
You know, this week we're going to be hearing from a lot of great and leaders and insightful folks about the year ahead. Give us your perspective of what we can anticipate in 2018.
Well, we came out of 2017 a lot better than I think anyone ever anticipated. We have growing supplies of protein, pork, poultry, and beef. We were able to move those supplies toward the end of the year at higher prices than anyone anticipated. Demand is really good domestically. American consumers are buying beef, and demand is really good in the international markets too. So I think we're cautiously optimistic about 2018. The long-range weather forecasts look favorable. We're out of this drought in most areas of the country now. So I think people here at the convention are in a pretty good mood.
Pretty positive. That's good. And you've been to a lot of these conventions, Kendall. Tell folks, what are some of your favorite activities? What are some things we should circle in our programs this week?
Well, I always enjoy the trade show, and our trade show is bigger than ever. Over 300 exhibitors, 6 acres worth of products and services. I always enjoy that. But I also enjoy the opportunity to meet and interact with cattlemen from around the country and see what's on their mind, see what they're thinking about, see what their priorities are, and exchange information about how their year went and what they're looking for in the year ahead.
It's a great week to rub shoulders with some very bright and talented cattle people for sure. And we're going to let you go and do just that. I know you've got a busy week ahead. Thanks for coming and sharing some of your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Kevin.
In addition to the business that goes on at convention, there's plenty of fun and entertainment, like the Friday Night Cowboy Comedy Club. Colin Mockery and Brad Armstrong from Whose Line Is It Anyway will kick off the evening. And then make way for headliner Bill Engvall, a founding member of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. It'll be a great night, and the show is included with your convention registration. No doubt there's lots of work to be done and some valuable cattle industry connections to be made here in Phoenix. Reporter Brian Baxter has more on why this convention is so important to the beef industry.
The Cattle Industry Convention is the oldest and largest national convention for the cattle business. Although a lot of fun things are always planned, like entertaining and educational speakers, the most important item on the agenda is the review of official public policy positions for the upcoming year.
Well, it's one of the 2 times a year that we get to come together as cattlemen, and we need to get to network, talk to each other, and actually do the business of the organization. We're certainly going to have our fun, but during the day a lot of work is accomplished. All of our committees are going to be meeting, they're going to be discussing policy that's brought forth from our state organizations, and they're going to be really setting the priorities for what our people in D.C. and our whole organization does for 2018.
The NCBA trade show is another highlight. It's the largest in the business with more than 300 exhibitors. And it's been recognized as one of the top 25 fastest growing trade shows in the U.S.
If nothing else, the trade show in and of itself is one reason to come. You see all aspects of the industry, from the pharmaceuticals to the equipment, and all these ideas that you can bring home and put to work on your operation, as well as the meetings we've already talked about.
Even though the officer team is wall-to-wall booked for meetings, I do find the time and make the time to go through the trade show, because it's important for me, just as much as anybody else, to take a look at all the new and best things in the industry. And so I take the time to go through and talk with the exhibitors, and I glean a whole bunch from that.
The annual convention is also known for educational opportunities, and Cattlemen's College offers stimulating and thought-provoking sessions that can help generate high returns for your cattle business. There's also the annual CattleFacts Outlook Seminar, which provides a look forward to what cattle, beef, and feed prices might look like in the year ahead.
The CattleFacts Seminar Convention is one of the highlights, and I look forward all year long to see the presentations from the CattleFacts staff on the updates and outlooks for the coming year, and the weather forecast especially. So yeah, the CattleFacts Seminar is a hugely important meeting that I don't miss.
I think it's infinitely valuable. It's something that I think every producer that attends the convention looks forward to. It's usually a packed house to hear our experts tell us, what we need to be looking for the next year. Where are maybe some of those opportunities that we can make that little extra money for the year, and just sort of see where our industry stands.
Throw in a couple of days of valuable networking on top of everything else, and it's easy to see that attending the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show is a great value for your business.
It is more than worth the money to travel to Phoenix and participate in our annual meetings and convention. It's important to engage with fellow ranchers and producers to find out what other people are doing and saying, and get that networking. Plus, it's all the information from Cattlemen's College and all the committee meetings and CattleFacts Outlook. So all that information put together, it is more than worth the cost and effort to go down and get engaged, and it helps me be profitable back at home.
Reporting from the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Phoenix, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Don't forget, you still have time to make it here to Phoenix and be a part of the amazing, educational, and fun Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. The convention officially gets underway on Wednesday and continues through Friday evening. You can register right on site, and one-day registrations are also available if you just want to drive in for a quick visit. Find out more at ncba.org. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll have more from Phoenix, including a look at all the important work that goes on this week. Plus, we're going to visit outgoing NCBA President Craigudin's operation in Nebraska. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to be an American cattleman? It means you have what it takes where it counts, on the inside. At Ritchie, we understand that. It's what's on the inside that defines us. We share the same values: ingenuity, commitment, sense of pride. These are the values that built this country. They're the values that built this company. Ritchie, proud to be a partner to the American Cattlemen since 1921.
The secret to finding more buyers for your cattle is no longer a secret. CattleExchange.com is like no other site. It brings the greater ease of use, detailed information, and searchability found in sites like Cars.com and Autotrader.com to the cattle industry. Upload photos and video to attract more buyers and share greater detail in your listing. Cattle buyers and sellers are connecting in ways they never imagined. Go to www.cattle-exchange.com and discover the secret to better selling.
Welcome back. Outgoing NCBA President Craigudin spent the past year representing cattlemen and women all around the country. We asked Craig to share his perspective on why it's important to attend the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show.
I think Phoenix is going to be a wonderful location. We're going to have a lot of people showing up. I hear there's quite a few people wanting to come. I think anytime you can come and learn what's going on, we're going to have excellent speakers. Plus, there's going to be 8 acres of trade show floor, and I'm pretty excited to see all the new technologies and new equipment that's going to be rolled out in Phoenix in 2018. And when people go, they get involved, they get in sync with the issues and the challenges so that they can help create those opportunities. That's really what we're all about, is turning challenges into opportunities, and this is where it all kicks out and where it all starts.
This convention also offers us a chance to say goodbye and thanks to Craig for his year of service to the beef industry. Early last year, reporter Brian Baxter took a closer look at what life is like for Craig back home in Nebraska.
As the sun rises over the Dar feedlot in central Nebraska, you'll likely find Craigudin starting his day at the place where his passion for the beef industry took off.
I basically was born into the business. When I was a young kid, we had a small feedlot and farming operation in eastern Nebraska. I interned out in this country, and these guys had a dream to put a feed yard together. So they bought an old 1,500 head feed yard, and we started Dar feedlot back in 1982. And that was the year I interned. The next year I came out and they said we needed somebody to run it. So for $5 an hour, I decided to take a shot at putting this thing together. And today we've got 2 locations. We feed 45,000 head of cattle. And along with that, I've got a cow-calf operation, my wife, and actually my kids even have some cows here.
The early years of Craig's career were tough ones in the beef industry, but they helped to shape his management style. He's always taken a hands-on approach, and that helped him gain a foothold on the leadership ladder of the many beef industry organizations he's served.
When I was a kid, my dad was the first one to start the county organization in that county, and today that's still one of the largest county organizations in the state of Nebraska. And so I followed along with him to meetings, and I got involved in my local and was president here, and moved on up and held different positions within the Nebraska Cattlemen. And one day I was asked to join the Beef Council, and I said I would, and I did, and I never knew it would lead as in depth as it has, but I believe in giving back. But I think what's so invaluable about being a member of any organization is what you take home and how you better utilize the resources and understand, make your operation better. You know, we always think when we get out of school or our education's over, that's where it's just beginning. So I think you have to continue to learn, because the world changes every day, and you got to be able to change with it.
As Craig moved up the leadership ranks in Nebraska, his willingness to serve his fellow producers made him a natural fit for posts at the national level. And he quickly saw there were additional opportunities that would allow him to add to his understanding of the industry he's passionate about.
I was going to sort cattle in Colorado, and I'd just been elected to become a Beef Council member. So I stopped in and watched an operating committee. And so I interviewed for operating, and stayed around there a long time on the operating committee, moved up through the federation and became vice chair and chairman, and wasn't sure at that time. I still had a few things to do with my home operations, but threw my hat in on the policy because originally I was way back in policy. So moved over to the policy chairs and went up that way. So I've had both sides.
Serving in checkoff and policy leadership roles has given Craig a unique perspective on nearly every facet of NCBA and the work it does on behalf of the industry. In the year ahead, his experiences have also shaped the priorities Craig will pursue during his term as NCBA president.
We're going to stay focused on trade. Trade is a very important aspect to the beef industry. Currently, right now, we've got numbers growing. We have the highest quality, most wholesome, safe beef in the world. And all we need is access to showcase our beef, and we will have plenty of consumers. If we want to maintain and grow this herd and stay profitable and increase prices and have a vibrant industry, we have to have outlets to sell our product. And right now, that's been one of our hang-ups. We've done a lot in the export world, but we need to do more because that's our future.
Beyond trade, maintaining a strong partnership between NCBA and state cattle organizations is a cornerstone of Craig's focus. He knows that working together is the best way to advance the entire industry, and by networking with others and sharing information, every member of the beef family benefits.
Without state and national partnerships, without the states, we have no national. We bring all these ideas and as well as challenges to the organization. Everybody gets to see what the big issues are, how we're going to solve those issues, and that's very, very important. And then when we do solve those issues, then it goes back to the country and it can be shared with all the producers. I think the beef industry is a great community. I think everybody's open and honest with each other. They don't always agree with each other, but the freedom to operate their business, but just the interaction working back and forth is very positive. I'm a gate-to-plate thinker. I think it's very important for people to understand how the industry works and how they plug in. A lot of hands touch our product, and I think the better people understand the whole of our industry, they're better prepared for the challenges that we face and some of the solutions that we find to move the industry forward.
From market prices to beef trade issues and battles over government regulation, there's no shortage of challenges for cattle producers. But by working together through NCBA, Craig believes there's a strong, positive future for his own operation and for the cattle industry overall.
I'm very bullish about the cattle industry. I know we're in a rough spot. We've been in a rough spot. We've been in them before. But when we have these challenges, we always have to look for opportunities. We've got a lot of young talent coming aboard. We've got a lot of interest. We need all that talent because as the industry changes, we talk about the millennial consumer changing, but also our producers are changing. So we have to continue to evolve, and it's an ever-evolving business. Well, I think the future of the operation is bright. We're working with sons now, some of the original owners. You know, it's been a very proud moment for us to bring this up from 1,500 to the current capacity today. And I think the future is very bright for our operations as well as the entire beef industry.
To keep up to date on the issues facing cattlemen and women and to help make a difference in the industry, why not join Craig as a member of NCBA? It's easy to do. Just call toll-free 1-866-233-3872. Or you can visit the website ncba.org. Still ahead, we'll discuss how the NCBA trade show is coming together. And we'll have the latest from the cowboy poet Baxter Black. Stay with us.
I find that the Public Lands Council does a great job in representing my members.
Having someone like the Public Lands Council in Washington, D.C. is huge for us.
Every time we have a change of administration, we've got a new educational process that needs to take place.
And the Public Lands Council does a really good job of that, of sharing kind of the reality of what the ranchers deal with every day to those who aren't that exposed to it.
I think PLC plays a great role in helping to inform and help political leaders to understand the nuances that take place on public lands.
We obviously can't get away all the time to go to Washington, D.C. and to argue these issues.
There are very, very few groups as small as the public land ranchers in the West that have a track record where they were that effective.
In terms of working with the Public Lands Council, I'll tell you as one senator, I want to work with them, I want to stand with them, and I want to fight for them because they represent the people of our communities.
Welcome back to Cattlemen as we get you ready for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Arizona. There's a lot happening this week at the Phoenix Convention Center, and we've got a great team of reporters working to bring you all the details. Let's check in with Russell Nimitz, who has more on some of the work that goes on during the convention.
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. That's right. This week, as we get ready to blaze a trail to Phoenix for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, you know, we've had Marvin Kokash on the program lots of times in the past, and certainly we've been talking about this Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show for quite some time. We've talked about some of the fun things happening this week here in Phoenix, but hey, there's also a lot of educational things for producers and lots of policy things that are also very important to the U.S. beef cattle industry.
That's right, Russell. This is a business, and we have a business part of this meeting. You know, we're really excited to have all of the great education sessions on Wednesday through Cattlemen's College. Then we actually sit down and we really get to work in our committee process and getting our state affiliates really lined up to where they come in and we talk about issues that are important to cattlemen from across the country.
You know, I think when we get busy back home in our own different operations, we sometimes forget to remember that groups like the National Cattlemen's Beef Association are truly member-driven, and grassroots policy is where it's all at.
Absolutely. I mean, our policy really starts truly at the grassroots level, where county cattlemen's associations, they bring ideas up. Let's say it's on a tax policy. They will take that policy to their state cattlemen's association where it's debated and tussled and tossed around. And then that state cattlemen's association will bring it up onto the national stage. And then we have a committee for, you know, tax and credit. And so we have representatives from all the different states. They discuss that and really go through that policy. Then at the end of the meeting, there's a vote taken. And that vote's taken and majority rules. And then guess what? That vote goes to our board. Then they have a pass at it. But it's not done yet, Russell, because then our members get a mail-out ballot and they get to affirm that policy that got really established at that county level. So really it goes full circle, that grassroots process does. It begins at the local level and ends at the local level.
Well, certainly you and I don't have to say there's ever a lack of issues affecting today's cattlemen and cattlewomen across the country. And of course, NCBA has two offices, one in Denver and one in Washington, D.C., that are always working on behalf of beef cattle producers every day.
You know, every time I come back to Washington, D.C., it makes me even more proud to work for the organization. And every single moment of every single day, there are special interest groups working to attack American agriculture. This office here in Washington, D.C., we're here representing cattlemen, representing the issues that are important for all those folks that can't come to Washington, D.C., that can't go meet with their elected officials. That's our job. But we're delivering the policy that you back at home established. So that really makes us a powerful organization in Washington.
You know, back to this week's convention in Phoenix, again, we're looking forward to having thousands of cattlemen and cattlewomen join us in the Valley of the Sun. We've talked about the policy side of what's going to be covered in Phoenix this year, but there's plenty of educational opportunities as well, especially those cattlemen's college sessions.
Yeah, we have over 20 cattlemen's college sessions, and that's on Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday. But then every day in the trade show, we have about 10 sessions per day in our trade show in our what we call our learning lounges. So there's basically 45-minute sessions on a variety of subjects, and really all this material is really focusing on how can we help cattlemen be more profitable, save on expenses, just really how they're going to be a better cattle producer and help their operation.
Yeah, and we're not talking about a small trade show either. I mean, this thing is sitting on 6+ acres. I mean, there is lots of things to do and see and touch and feel.
Yes, and this is the premier trade show for all of ag, and really the folks that are engaged in the cattle business. This is where they launch new products. This is where they get into the marketplace with new technologies, whether it's vaccines or animal ID or tractors and farm equipment and all that. It's all here for people to talk to the experts, crawl around on the machinery. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. I know we're starting to get a little bit long-winded here, but I also wanted to remind folks at home that if you can't even join us for the entire Cattle Industry Convention or NCBA trade show, no worries. I mean, come to town for a half a day, or maybe it's a full day, or just take in what you can do, especially the surrounding area here in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's right, Russell. We got options for people for one-day registrations, just a trade show only option, or 2-day or a full-day registration with all the entertainment and education and all right there. So we have a lot of options for whatever fits your schedule.
And if you need another reason, just come to Phoenix to see this guy. You will not be disappointed. Again, we're in Phoenix this week as we blaze a trail for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. We hope you will join us, and we look forward to seeing you here as well. Kevin, with that, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll have more on all the fun and excitement in Phoenix as we prepare for a great cattle industry convention. That includes a look at some of the great speakers and performers who are guaranteed to entertain the crowd. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of the land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
Hi everybody, Russell Nimitz here, inviting you to pack your boots and join me here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 31st through February 2nd. As always, the convention will be packed full of informational and educational workshops, the huge NCBA Trade Show, plus outstanding entertainment like the Cowboy Comedy Club featuring comedian Bill Engvall. I'll be there, and I hope you'll join me. Let's blaze a trail to Arizona by visiting beefusa.org.
Welcome back to Cattlemen to Cattlemen. The Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show has evolved over the years into one of agriculture's premier conventions, eagerly anticipated by cattle industry members and those who interact with them. Joining us now is Kristen Torres. She's NCBA's Executive Director of Meetings and Events. Kristen, we've got a busy week here. Tell us about some of the great speakers you have on tap for us.
We do have a very busy week planned this week, and we have a great lineup of speakers planned. We're going to kick off the week with Cattlemen's College. They have over 15 breakout sessions. They have an outdoor demonstration arena. They have the CEO from Arby's that's going to address that group. Then we're going to kick off the convention with none other than the pioneer woman, Ree Drummond. And Stormy Warren is actually going to MC that session for us as well.
Fun. Yeah.
And then General Session 2 this year, we have retired Major League Baseball player Jim Abbott, and he's going to talk to us about adapting to change and telling us a little bit about his story. It's going to be great for cattlemen that are attending this week.
And we have some fun planned for the evenings. Tell folks a little bit about the entertainment options.
We do have a lot of fun planned, as we always do. Each day in the trade show, we have a reception. We kick it off with a Sonoran shindig, in the trade show.
Wow.
And then on Thursday night, we're going to have a Phoenix Fiesta. at Corona Ranch, and Cattlemen are in for a great surprise there. Paul Bogart will be there playing, so Cattlemen can dance the night away. And then we close out the convention with a cowboy comedy club featuring Bill Engvall and special guests from the Whose Line Is It Anyway show. So that's going to be great for Cattlemen. They can actually close out the entire convention with another night of dancing with Chancey Williams and the Younger Brothers. So
Fantastic.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. And tell us this, you mentioned the trade show. Why is that such a draw to cattlemen and cattlewomen? And what do you have on tap this year for us in the trade show?
Well, the trade show is actually sold out this year once again, and we've actually added in some outdoor exhibit space. So we have over 8 acres of exhibits on site here in Phoenix. And we also have education that's happening on the trade show floor. So it's more than just a trade show. So we have live cattle handling demonstrations. We have a classroom session area that we set up on the show floor. We also have a whole social media networking lounge where people can learn how they can become better advocates for themselves and for their operations via social media.
I never have enough time to do everything that I want to do in the trade show for sure. And so tell us this, is there still time to register?
Absolutely. Registration is open on site, so folks can just head to the Phoenix Convention Center and get all signed up right there on site.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
As Kristen said, it's not too late for you to come to Phoenix and enjoy all the convention has to offer. You can register right on site, and one-day registrations are available if you just want to drive in for a quick visit. You can find all the details at ncba.org. Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll meet some great beef producers who are part of Arizona's cattle industry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Say goodbye to your toughest pasture and rangeland weeds for good. Because one product offers season-long control, handles the widest spectrum of broadleaf weeds, and clears the way for increased forage with greater grazing flexibility. So you get more beef per acre at a cost that can't be beat. It's Grazon Next HL herbicide, and if it's in your pastures, plain and simple, weeds won't be.
Can't get enough of those classic tractors? Then visit our website, classictractors.com, and check out our huge selection of DVDs featuring many stories you'll never see on TV. It doesn't matter if your favorite tractor color is red, green, orange, or prairie gold, we've got you covered. These videos are perfect for any tractor enthusiast, so don't wait. Shop today. And thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever.
Welcome back. While we're in Phoenix, it's our pleasure to highlight some of the great work being done in the state of Arizona for beef producers. Russell Nimitz has a closer look at the Arizona Beef Council as well as the ranching families it represents.
Well, Arizona cattlemen and cattlewomen do in fact raise some of the very best beef in the entire world. And for those making plans to join us here in Phoenix, Arizona for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, will get to taste some of this delicious beef. Now, one of those that is working hard every day here in the state of Arizona to promote not just the Arizona beef cattle industry, but the U.S. beef cattle industry as a whole is Lauren Mailing with the Arizona Beef Council. And you were telling us before we started the interview that you guys are working hard to make sure that dietitians and chefs and culinary experts keep beef on the menu.
Absolutely. We have a unique position here in Arizona, especially in metropolitan Phoenix, of having 4.5 million people right here in the valley. And so the Arizona Beef Council has always made a priority for education, and we work closely with high school culinary classrooms and agricultural classrooms to make sure that they understand how beef fits into a healthy diet. We've also always thought it very important to give the first-hand experience to our future chefs and dietitians by hosting several Gate to Plate tours, and our Arizona cattlemen and women have been wonderful hosts to help us in our partnerships with some dietetic intern programs with the largest universities here in Arizona, as well as with the culinary schools, so that we make sure that those future chefs and nutrition professionals understand beef and know firsthand where it comes from.
I bet it's a lot of fun whether you're going into a classroom in an elementary school or, like you said, in a culinary class or even addressing a bunch of dietitians, to have that opportunity to tell beef's great message.
Absolutely, and they remember it most from the people who raise that high quality nutritious beef. And when we are able to take them out to the ranch, out to feed yards and to dairies, they remember that firsthand of the care that goes into raising those animals. And when we live in such a metropolitan area, it's a great opportunity to take kids out of the classroom so that they have memories of beef favorably.
And how important is it for investors of the Beef Checkoff program here in Arizona to know that their investment, what they're raising back on their own cattle operations, is in fact making it to these other audiences that maybe don't necessarily live and breathe it like we do every day?
It's so important to tell the story of how cattle are raised in Arizona because we have a unique story here in the Southwest, and we have many dairies and feed yards, but everywhere we look is also a ranch, and cattle are raised in every county in Arizona. And it's important to tell that story from the farmers and ranchers directly to the consumers, and especially in such this large metropolitan area and across the state.
You know, we also know that dollars are limited when it comes to promoting U.S. beef and the U.S. beef cattle industry through the Checkoff program here in this country. But that's why the Arizona Beef Council is so proud to be able to work with the Cattlemen's Beef Board on a national level to really kind of work as a big team to spread the message on a bigger level.
Especially for small state beef councils like ours with just 2 staff members, it's important to utilize our state and national partnerships, and utilizing checkoff resources and working with the contractors to the beef checkoff. We can utilize our design services from the Federation of State Beef Councils, but then also take national marketing campaigns and messages and utilize them here in Arizona, and that's so helpful, especially when we're a small but mighty staff.
How excited are you to be able to host the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show January 31st through February 2nd and get to highlight and showcase Arizona's wonderful U.S. beef cattle industry to thousands who are coming to the desert?
It's a great time to come to the desert, and January, February is great weather. We love being outside this time of year and get to go hiking right here in Phoenix, and so we welcome everybody and welcome and come explore the desert.
Anything else, Lauren, while we have you here on Cattlemen to Cattlemen going on here in Arizona as far as the Arizona Beef Council?
We're happy to have everyone come to Phoenix and experience Arizona. We're glad to host everyone and have a little bit of our beef ranching in the Southwest.
All right, well, we appreciate you explaining a little bit about what you're doing every day. Again, Lauren Mailing with the Arizona Beef Council, just one of the many that continue to believe in beef. It's what's for dinner, but I would have to say, probably like other states, beef is also for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Kevin. So anyways, get ready to blaze a trail, pack your boots, and join us here in Phoenix, January 31st through February 2nd for the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show.
If you're wandering around the demonstration area of the trade show floor, you might just come across Dean Fish, an Arizona cattleman who helps make sure that the training sessions run smoothly. We sent reporter Brian Baxter to check out Dean's home operation way down south in Arizona at the Santa Fe Ranch.
You'll find Santa Fe Ranch in the Santa Cruz Valley a few hours south of Phoenix. This 3,500-acre cow-calf operation is located right on the border between Arizona and Mexico.
This was part of a Spanish land grant, and the owners of the ranch, the Sedgwick family, purchased this ranch in 1957, and they've been ranching it as a cow-calf ranch ever since that. Our geographic location with Mexico does present some different challenges because we do have a lot more traffic across our ranches. We have more law enforcement presence, on our ranches and so forth. So there are some different things that are unique, but I don't think we face a lot of challenges that are much different than other parts of the country.
Dean Fish manages Santa Fe, and caring for this land is in his blood. His father used to manage the operation, and Dean grew up here. So when Dad retired, Dean jumped at the chance to come back home.
It's a huge, huge responsibility to take care of a piece of ground that my father and people before him managed. That responsibility is for me to return that in better shape than when I got it. And so that's a huge challenge, but I tell you, I'm up for that challenge.
Running cattle in such an arid environment can be challenging, but it's something they've done successfully at Santa Fe Ranch for several decades. Dean spends a lot of time monitoring soil and plant health to ensure they're getting the most out of their limited grass resources.
We're limited by precipitation as far as what our grazing can be on native rangeland. We monitor rangeland here. In fact, my dad was manager here for 35 years, and they started in 1980 collecting range monitoring data here on this ranch. We have a long-term commitment to range monitoring, and so by being able to measure what is actually impacting the ground, we can then change our management and allow some flexibility in management there. The most important days that I spend here are the days that I spend monitoring and counting grass. It's not the most exciting part of the job, but again, probably the most impactful for the overall health and sustainability of this environment.
With the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show coming to Phoenix, Dean is looking forward to sharing the story of Santa Fe Ranch and explaining the important role cattle production plays in the state of Arizona.
Our beef industry is a very, very important part of our economy, and most of our land in Arizona that's not urbanized or under some type of control is used for grazing. And we again think that that's a very, very sustainable use to convert those otherwise unpalatable plants into something that's safe, healthy, and nutritious.
Anyone that wants the chance to talk to Dean should look for him on the trade show floor. He'll be helping out at the demonstration arena. Dean says educational opportunities are just one of the many reasons to check out the trade show.
For me, the NCBA trade show is where I make the majority of my buying decisions for my operation. That's a place where, and it's really the only place that I feel that you get that group of vendors and sponsors that come and display their products so that I can make decisions what type of vaccines I'm going to be using, or what's the latest shoot, to address my personal issues, but also become more knowledgeable on what's happening in the industry, what are the trends, what are the problems that we may be facing coming up in the next year, and how do I address those.
With thousands of cattlemen and women expected in Phoenix, Dean knows this is a great opportunity to show the rest of the cattle industry some of the things he loves about Arizona.
We're really, really excited to have NCBA here in Phoenix because I think that we'll be able to showcase our hospitality here in the Southwest. We have, a blending of cultures here. We have a lot of really cool things to see here. Of course, the weather's going to be fantastic in late January, early February here. So, we're proud to show you all of that.
Reporting from Arizona, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
When we return, we'll check in with Baxter Black. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's time to blaze a trail to Phoenix. Join me, Stormy Warren from SiriusXM's The Highway, and see the biggest and the best cattle industry trade show. Explore over 350 displays covering more than 6 acres. Plus, have a laugh or two with funny man Bill Engvall at the Cowboy Comedy Club. All that and so much more are on tap for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 31st through February 2nd. Mark your calendar now. You can find out more and get registered at beefusa.org.
Pardon me, if you're looking for Baxter Black, the funny cowboy, he's right here with a special offer. 6-hour-long DVDs filled with live shows, Emmy-winning comedy, all Baxter at his best. And the price is right, $25 plus shipping. 800-654-2550 or online at baxterblack.com. As Farmer Bill from Alabama said, he's the only famous person I know who is just one of us.
Howdy.
We know you're up before the dawn because the cattle rise before the sun. And you spend long hours in the saddle because the herd isn't always over the next rise. And you care for the land because you know it takes care of your family. And we know you do great work. And it's time to tell that story to the marketplace. IMI Global is here to help you do just that.
Have you ever put yourself in the position of a calf being born? Well, I'm gonna put you there. Say, anybody got a light? Sure is dark in here, tighter than the skin on Polish sausage. For 9 long months, I've trusted Mom. But now she's pulled the plug. A pure and simple case of double crossage. I'm not sure what I really am, or even what I'm for. To breed? Or do they plan to milk us? I've checked myself the best I could. A bull calf's what I think. But heck, that might be my umbilicus. Hey, close the door. I feel a draft. Get your hands off me. Nobody said I had to relocate. The way you're pawing at my foot and pulling on my leg, you probably never had a second date. Oh, chains. That's nice. I guess this means the honeymoon is over, and I'd been counting on a baby shower to celebrate my coming out, so you could lavish me with medicated gifts so I won't scour. But as it is, you're dragging this whole project out too long. Your midwife skills are lax and don't assure me. Well, don't stop now. Please let me get where I can turn my head. I'm feeling like a piece of taxidermy. Whoa, what's that pipe? With all the hooks and even looking levers. You dummies plan on building you a bridge? Wait, don't tell me. Let me guess. A fetal calf extractor for uterine abuse and pilferage. Way to go. Now I'm hip locked. You're working up a sweat and smelling like a pair of dirty socks. I'm swinging like a pendulum. What's that hanging down? Is that my breakfast there between the hocks? Get out the way, I'm bailing out. Too bad we met like this. But you might be all right, at least I think. And to show there's no hard feelings, belly up here to the bag, and I'll buy you and all your friends a drink. This is Baxter Black from in there.
Thanks, Baxter. We'll look forward to seeing you this week in Phoenix. Baxter has been a regular attendee of this convention over the years and a longtime supporter of the beef industry. We're back right after this. Stay with us.
No matter what job I've got to do, my John Deere 5E tractor will do it all. Whether I'm cutting, moving feed, or building a fence. Using my 5E means my work gets done faster at a price I can afford, and that works for me.
Hey everybody, I'm Stormy Warren from SiriusXM's The Highway. Join me for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Phoenix, January 31st through February 2nd. You can find out more at beefusa.org.
Although there's plenty to do at the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, we know you might get the urge to explore the Phoenix area. Russell Nimitz has a look at one attraction that highlights the many wonders of the desert.
A must-see, a must-do on the travel plan has to be a visit to the beautiful Desert Botanical Garden. And with us on the segment to give us all of the exciting details is their Dr. Kimberly McHugh. And what a fantastic, beautiful, awesome thing you guys have going here outside of Scottsdale, Arizona. And so walk us through the Botanical Garden, because there's something to see for everybody.
That's absolutely true, and I love all those adjectives you use to describe the garden. It really is an amazing place, and there is something for everybody here. One of the things I will say is the plant life is the real showstopper here, and we have 2 national collections here on the grounds. We have the National Collection of Cactus. We have over 1,400 different kinds of cactus. You will never see a grouping of cactus like this anywhere else in the world. And then we also have the National Collection of the Agave family. So again, this is a very special, both in depth and breadth of these collections.
Well, I don't think a lot of folks realize just how much beautiful plant life there is out here in the desert, and they're going to see it here at this botanical garden, and they're going to see these cacti, which, by the way, I didn't realize there was 1,400 different cacti either, but you're going to see some of them in bloom, and there are some beautiful flowers on these things.
Yeah, cactus are deceptive. When they're not flowering, they can look like, oh, here's a little green thing with a lot of spines. But when they flower, that's when their beauty really shines through.
Absolutely. So what it is truly an educational experience for both children through adults, young and old.
Absolutely. And one of the things, so if people come here with kids, at admissions, they can ask for a sheet that takes them on a scavenger hunt, and that is really super fun. So it basically is a way to lead you through the garden and look for really cool, fun, informative things. And kids, you know, they can check off things and get a sticker, stuff like that. And, you know, there is beauty. There's opportunity to learn things that you never knew. I mean, you said you had no idea there were this many cactus, and that's the number one thing I hear people say on the trails. I had no idea. And they say it with wonder, because there are cactus that are small, that are cactus that are 30 feet tall. There are cactus that during the convention, when your people will be here, that are in bloom that will be just stunning.
Well, Dr. McHugh, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to describe just a few of the highlights for us here at the Desert Botanical Garden. Thank you for being with us on Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right, there you go, Kevin. Just one of the many things to do as folks make their plans to join us here in Phoenix for the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. And borrowing a line from our good friend Brian Baxter, let me tell you, the Botanical Garden, it's starting to grow on me. With that, I'll go ahead and send it back to you in the studio.
Now, don't forget, there's still time to get to Phoenix and be a part of the biggest cattle industry convention. It runs from now through Friday, so come and check it out. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week with more from Phoenix right here on RFD TV.